In the excavation, one day they found a tomb, and the workmen asked me to come to see the tomb. And they gave me a brush, which I was young, and I began to clean in the middle of the tomb. I found a statue of Aphrodite. When I began to clean the statue, I said, I found my love.
Third episode, third guest of our podcast. And thanks to our guest, Zahi Hawass. Thanks for accepting our invitation. So, Zahi, you are a celebrity, essentially. You have been writing book, you have been on TV, you have been producing documentaries, movies. So, um, are you going to stop? Are you now? Do you have any other plan for the future?
Of course, we have many plans. Number one,
Mhm.
the excavation. I'm working in Saqqara,
Okay.
still searching for the pyramid of Honi, the last
Okay.
king of Dynasty 3. That Netflix did a film about this pyramid,
Okay.
and also working around the pyramid of Titi. We found many shafts contain many coffins and mummies. Also, I'm working in the Valley of the Kings, searching
Okay.
for the tomb of Queen Nefertiti.
Okay.
And working in two new valleys that never been anyone worked before. One valley near the Valley of the Kings called the Valley of Hiwi, and the other one called the Valley of Marks.
Okay.
In the area of Golden City, that was considered last year as the most important discovery in Egypt after Tutankhamun, we found many important news things, such as the name of Semenech Kara celebrating the second Sid Festival. I believe this
Okay.
could be the full name of Queen Nefertiti. And
Okay.
we found next door to the Grand City, we found a big, large cemetery dated to 500 BC. And those were the people who are buried, who were the singers of the god Ammon. I'm also using CT scan and DNA to
Okay.
search for the mummy of Queen Nefertiti and the mummy of her daughter Ankhis in Ammon. In about 3 months from now, we'll be able to announce the major discovery. Also, we are searching
Hmm.
for Tutankhamun, how he died,
Okay.
because CT scan proved that Tutankhamun had an accident 2 days where he died. We are looking now to see if he had infection or not. If he had infection, we'll announce that Tutankhamun died in an accident. Also, inside the Great Pyramid, I'm leading a team looking for voids inside the Great Pyramid. One team from England to look
Okay.
what's behind the doors, and
Okay.
also another team from France and Egypt and Japan using very sophisticated techniques. And we found this corridor behind the main entrance of the pyramid. Also, I'm writing a book
Hmm.
in English now about my
Okay.
life story. I'm looking for a publisher to publish this book
Okay.
in English, and
Okay.
also I am going to. I wrote a novel about
Okay.
Khufu,
Okay.
and I'm traveling everywhere in June, July, in May, June, July 2025. I'm giving 30 lectures
Wow.
all over America and Canada. Then, as you see, I am so busy
You
and
keep busy.
I will never retire at all.
Wow. I thought, I mean, thanks for all this information. I actually thought that essentially in Egypt, most of the discovery have been done, but actually, I just realized that's not the case. There are still a lot of things that needs to be done.
We found until now 30% only of our monuments, and
Wow.
still there is 70% is buried underneath the ground.
Wow. And I mean, you mentioned a lot of things you're working now. So how you can, at your level, manage all these activities?
I'm the director of these teams, and I appoint someone to be in charge of every team. And
Okay.
I go to Luxor to see the excavation,
Mm.
Saqqara, then they oversee the whole work.
Okay. it must be, managing a lot of people then.
Yes, I do. I do have an association now that was established by the Egyptian government called the Zahi Hawass Foundation for Heritage and Antiquity.
Okay.
Through this foundation, I'm looking for fund from people everywhere. Through this fund, we can do the excavation and the discoveries.
Okay. I'll talking about this the new excavation. How if you can give an estimate, how can cost an excavation if you have to start from scratch, just to have an idea of the funding requirement?
It depends, like one site needs at least $2,000 a month.
Okay. And wow, that's thanks. Impressive. And I just now want to go back to the start of your career. So I read that you didn't want to become an archaeologist, but your first objective was becoming a lawyer.
When I was young, I wanted to be a lawyer. When I joined Faculty of Law, I did not like law. Then I went to Faculty of Arts. I joined archaeology by accident. I graduated in the age of 20, and I did not like the people in the antiquities department when I got a job by the government. I tried to go to be a diplomat. I failed. I came back to the antiquities, and I found that the head of antiquities signed a decree for me to go to do excavation. I refused to go. And he said, if you don't go, I will cut 15 days of a salary. I had to go. In the excavation, one day they found a tomb. And the workmen asked me to come to see the tomb. And they gave me a brush, which I was young, and I began to clean in the middle of the tomb. I found a statue of Aphrodite. When I began to clean the statue, I said, I found my love, passion. Then I had passion for archaeology. I found out that I'm not really good in archaeology. I began to study master at Cairo University. I took a Fulbright and I went to America for 7 years. I got my doctorate, and the 7 years in America, it changed my life. And when I began, I was the director of the pyramid. I made the pyramid to be respected. And also, when I became the head of antiquities, I really changed antiquities completely. I built almost 22 museums. The Grand Museum I built, the Civilization Museum I built. I did site management for all the archaeological sites, Jewish, Pharaonic, Islamic, and Coptic. Also, in the same time, I did change the guarding system. I built 50 stores to protect the antiquities. I made awareness among the Egyptians, and I trained young people in archaeology. Then I really made a revolution against in the antiquities department for 10 years. And I made for the first time Egyptians to be in charge of Egypt antiquities, and instead of foreigners before were in charge of the Egyptian antiquities.
Wow, impressive. And you mentioned you have been studying in the US. So how that affected your career in the way that
I said that the 7 years that I went to the United States to study at the University of Pennsylvania, it changed my life because it made me a scholar. I did learn how to become a public lecturer. And this, I am the most expensive lecturers now about Egypt. And this really because of my study in America.
So paradoxically, in order to specialize in Egyptian or to become an archaeologist, you have to go away from Egypt, essentially.
It's better, better because of the library, and you have schools of Egyptology in England, in Paris, America, everywhere. The foreign schools are really better because you can be free, and you can be you can be in a library, you can be only doing study, but in Egypt you'll be busy with other things.
Okay, wow. And you mentioned the moment that changed your life was that Aphrodite.
Yes.
Discovery. Is there anything else, any other moment later on when you say, okay, I did it. I mean, I achieved what I wanted.
Every discovery. When I just in Saqqara
Mhm.
found shafts 20 meters under the ground. When I go in a shaft and I see a sealed sarcophagus, before I open the lid and put my head to see what's inside, these other beautiful moments in my life. Then I feel all the time that I live with the pharaohs because I'm excavating every day, making a discovery. The moment that you hold a statue in your hand, it's the most beautiful moment in my life. And this is why archaeology began to be my life. And this is why when I talk about archaeology, as if I'm talking about a lover to me, because my love is archaeology. And this is why when I give lectures, my talks go to the hearts of people because of the passion that I have for archaeology.
Yeah, wow. And that's what we actually are trying to do with this outreach activity here, trying to inspire the next generation.
Well, this
Uh,
is my message to the next generation. It doesn't mean that you are not good in school, that you will fail. I was not good student. I was really a bad student, and I was failure. But when I had this passion, the passion it changed my life, and
wow.
it made me to be in the top of archaeology in the world because of that passion, not love. You can love anything easy, but to have passion for anything is the most important thing. It can change, it can make anything small to be big.
Mm.
I made from archaeology to be big in my country.
Yep, thanks. And I want, at some, of course, now you have been in head of a lot of things. You have been also former ministry, and I want to go after to that. But in the meantime, during your career, you have been also working with television, with movie director. So how it started? How,
No,
in the first instance, they contacted you?
the thing when I used to look at TVs and I see
Mm,
foreigners talking about archaeology. I
mm.
never see an Egyptian talking about archaeology. But the
That's true.
passion I had when I give an interview to a TV, my words go to the hearts of people. And this is why I never ask TV to interview me. But after they found that, every TV from every country in the world, they run after me for an interview. And this is
Okay.
why I did something that people see everywhere, like Chasing Mummies for History Channel, like the film for Netflix seen by millions of people.
Yeah.
Then my television shows that made by Discovery, History, National Geographic, Australia, South Africa, England, everywhere. This shows really became the most entertainment for people in their homes.
Okay.
And I can see that when I walk in the streets of Italy or any country, I see people recognize me because they
Yeah.
love my interviews.
Yeah, I'm living now in the UK, but I knew you already when I was in Italy. I saw you on TV a few times. So of all these show, which one is the one you enjoy the most to do it? To
You know, every show has something. When I did
yeah,
it, Chasing Mamas, I did not know that this is a reality show, but this has really made people to love archaeology. Then every show for me has something in my heart,
yeah.
but I never see it again. When I made a show, I never see it.
You never okay.
Look for the second one and
Yeah,
do the second one. I am doing next year something big. I'm
okay,
doing a big live show from the
okay,
pyramid. I cannot talk more about it,
okay.
but
I mean, it's you already say just something
this will
at the
be,
premiere,
that will be seen by billions of people everywhere. That will be a live show.
and it will be then more about your career, if you can say it. Otherwise, don't worry, I will change topic. Okay.
It's a live show
Hmm.
from a major important site that we made a major discovery.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, you start collaborating to TV, a lot of time spent on show. How could you, let's say, manage both sides? Your, let's
I am
say,
I am I am a person whose my life is for archaeology only. The only hobby that I do is to go to the gym every
mm,
day,
okay,
also to see movies once a week. But
Okay.
the other time is dedicated completely to antiquities, and this is why I could have the time to reveal all the secrets to the world.
Okay. And how these, I know, I mean, it could be a personal question, but how these affect your personal life? I mean,
It
uh,
doesn't affect my personal life at all. My
okay,
personal life is away from people. I didn't really talk about it, but in the same
okay.
time, nothing affects my personal life. God really helped me in making all these things and make the glory for my family and for my country.
And how difficult was at the beginning for you, let's say, to emerge? You say you went to the US because you didn't like.
It was difficult. It was difficult. I was a young man moving from Egypt to go to America. This was a big change in my life.
Mm,
And this is why studying in America gave me knowledge about Egyptology and put me in the top of that. And I did learn from my study in America that I always like a train. I go up, I never go back. I never look at people who are better than me or I'm better than them. No, every day I do something good. Every
okay.
day I don't see someone attacking me. I said I did not do anything. But when people attack me, I don't care. Because when you become successful, people can attack you. But when people attack me, means
Mm,
I'm successful.
yeah.
When
And
New Yorker magazine, which is a famous American magazine, wrote 17 pages about me, half bad and half was good. I was happy to see that people can attack me because means they're really following my career.
yeah, I have a question about that. Yeah, how being famous was a problem for you? Because yeah,
Yeah, it
people.
is. It is. When you are famous, I do have fan emails. People send me fan emails about 50 a week. But some
Okay.
bad emails come to me from people who think that I do hide evidence about lost civilization. And they insulted me badly. They want me to be die because they want to discover this evidence
Yeah,
that pyramids built by aliens. And I really never answer this type of questions.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, there will always be whatever we do, someone who is going to attack us. In talking about discovery, because I think especially in archaeology, you do a discovery and there might be conflict within the team or who claim who did what. Did you have this type of issue? Like who? Okay,
Because all the discoveries happened under me, like the
okay,
very golden mummies in Bahriya Oasis, the tombs of the pyramid builders that I found at Giza, the new pyramid that I found in Saqqara and Giza. I found a pyramid next door to the Great Pyramid, the discoveries of the Golden City, the CT scan that I did on the discovery of the mummy of Queen Hatshepsut
mm,
and the family of Tutankhamun.
mm,
Major discoveries are connected to my career, and this really makes me happy. When I wrote more than 60 books, discovering, looking
okay.
all the discoveries that I made.
No, and for example, talking about books. Now you touch this topic. Uh, is the first time you wrote the book? Was it difficult because you were doing? Mm,
It was a book that was I was asked by Mrs. Mubarak, the wife of the president of Egypt, to
okay,
write about women in
okay,
ancient Egypt. She wanted to take this book to a conference about women in China. And
okay,
that was the first beautiful public book I wrote. It was published until now in 10 languages. It's called Silent Images, Women in Pharaonic Egypt. And after that, I wrote many books about pyramids, Giza and the pyramids, the magic of the pyramids. I wrote a book about the Valley of the Kings. I wrote a book about the nobles, scanning the pharaohs. I wrote really many books. And there is one book came last
mm,
week for me called Mountains of the Pharaohs, History of the Pyramid Builders, published by AUC Press in Cairo.
okay. Thanks. And um, was it difficult instead the first time you went on TV? I mean, were you? I
Oh,
don't
that's
think
good.
you are an emotional person, but did you have like were you nervous or?
Of course, the first time I did a TV before I began to have the passion, I could not even talk. I was afraid. I was trembling.
Wow.
But the most important thing for me now, when I give a lecture,
Hmm.
I don't talk for 1 hour before the lecture. I dedicate myself to the lecture. Even I gave this lecture 100 times, when I give it again, as if I give it for the first time. When I make an interview for the TV, I put myself on it. And this is why I give good interviews.
Okay, wow. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2011, you have been appointed Minister of State for Antiquities. How did it happen? I mean, someone called you, or?
I was the head of Antiquities. I never really wanted to be a minister because Antiquities is my life. I was offered to be the Minister of Tourism 5 years before that. I said no. But when the revolution happened and people can see me protecting the Cairo Museum, and they thought this will be good for the people to have me as a minister. And they really made for the first time Minister of Antiquities. I did not really want to be a minister because it came in a time that people were attacking us and there was a revolution. It was really a bad time. And this is why when I left my job in 2011, it was the best time in my life. When I left my job, I became independent, and this is why I began to travel. I had lots of honors from everywhere. In 2006, I was chosen top 100 by Time magazine. After 2011, I had many honors from Peru, from Italy, from America, from everywhere. I gave lectures, I wrote books, and also this honors really made me happy because I began to be dedicating my life not to official work, but to the work that I love, which is archaeology.
So essentially, you didn't like your, let's say, time as a minister mainly
No,
because of this. Okay.
it
Wow.
was really bad because the people were attacking, and it was really that time. All the people that I punished in my career because they were bad came to attack me during the revolution, but they could not do anything because all my life I'm completely clean. I never took a bribe from anyone in my life. I never even took a gift from anyone. This is why no one can get me at all, and this is why I was saved from all these people. And I was honored after that by every country. I'm going tomorrow to Italy to get a big new prize from University of Benevento. And
Okay.
also last week I did 2 days ago on the 7th of September I did make the a petition to
Okay.
ask the return of the bust of Queen Nefertiti from Berlin. And this petition is published everywhere. And the whole world for the last 2 days is talking about this petition because I hope to bring back the bust of Nefertiti from Berlin, Rosetta Stone from the British Museum, and the Zodiac from the Louvre to be shown in the Grand Museum.
So talking about this, do you think it will ever happen? They will return
I don't
in the
care.
future?
I think the popular attack and the popular votes, it can make England and France and Germany to be awake. They took all our monuments by force during imperialism. It's time for museums to stop buying stolen artifacts and also to return the unique pieces to its home. And
Yeah.
the unique pieces are Rosetta Stone, the Zodiac, and the Bust of Nefertiti.
And what about, because I want to now, I imagine their reply would be, we can.
I don't care about the reply because when I asked it in 2011 to have them as a loan, they refused. This is our monuments, and I'm
Yeah.
going to fight
Yeah.
until I bring them back. I don't care of what they will say, but this country has to know that this unique object should be at home, not at foreign museums.
And was this affecting you because you have been then working again with colleagues from Germany,
No,
UK?
I never work with anyone. I work alone,
Okay.
independent. I never cooperate with any foreigners at all.
Was
Why?
that one of the reasons because of,
No, I
let's say, the
never.
past?
No. I always like to be independent in my work
Okay.
and to work without anyone. But I don't care. The most important for me is Egypt. These unique artifacts are unique. I don't care if the German archaeology or the French or the English will hate me. I don't care about that. But what I care, I will fight until this object can come back.
And you mentioned 3 of these manufacturers. How many do you think
Only
they
that. Only I don't want any other object to come back. I only
Okay.
want 2 things.
Okay.
This 3 new artifacts to come, and also museums should stop imperialism. What I mean by imperialism, they should stop buying stolen artifacts. Okay?
So do you think it's a practice that is still going on nowadays?
Of course.
Okay.
Still museums buy stolen artifacts, and this is
Wow.
encourage thieves to go and attack magazines and attack tombs to cut reliefs and damage our monuments.
Yeah. Can I ask, for example, how pandemic, when you have such a decline in tourism, has that affected somehow?
It does, because
You know,
tourism can help in the restoration of the Egyptian monuments, and this we need always tourism. But people think that Gaza and Israel is in Egypt. No, Egypt is away. Egypt's completely safe. And this is the message that I do all over the world, to tell the people that Egypt's completely safe.
Yeah. And what about, because on the other side, I remember, I don't know where I read, you were saying there are problems with some of the monuments like the Giza Pyramid. There are too many tourists. Do you think it's something you can manage
No,
as a
Egypt,
country, like a balance?
tourism are the enemy of archaeology. But we have to accommodate between the need of tourism and the preservation of the Egyptian monuments. And this is why I did for every site management to protect the sites. And I restored pharaonic sites, Jewish synagogues, Islamic mosques, and Christian churches. I made a big, major work to protect these monuments.
And what's the worst threat coming by tourists? Stealing stuff or ruining, damaging?
Touching scenes, using flashes in the tombs. We need to accommodate between the need of tourism and the preservation of the antiquities. Okay, that's too much.
I have other questions. I
Okay.
know you're. So one is, do you have any, let's say, moment in your career, low moment, where you say, "Wow, I need to stop," or like?
No, never. I work every minute in my life. Even in my dream, I dream archaeology.
Okay, that's more inspiring than this.
And
And
now,
then,
you need any films or photos, my assistant can help you.
yeah, thanks. And I have one last question, and then I will leave you. It's I mean, you say you work alone. You have done a lot of discovery. How much of new technology are affecting you?
I use 3Ds in recording inscriptions and recording sites. I use CT scan to scan the mummies, DNA. I use all infrared and all this type of technology to know what's behind the stones. Technology became very important for me to reveal many secrets of the pharaohs.
Okay. And thanks. I think that was my last question.
Thank you.
So thanks again for your time, Zahi.